Senator Patterson, we're going to come to you.
Thanks, Chair. Secretary, earlier Senator Ghosh was asking some questions about a very specific period of time under the former government and the number of detainees released, and both he and the Minister seem to have a lot of that information. Do you have any idea where that information could have come from?
No, I don't, Senator. What I did was ask my officers if it was possible to check the information on our databases so that we could answer that.
No, I appreciate that, but I mean, no one else would hold that information other than the department. Have you recently received a request from either the Minister for Home Affairs office or the Minister for Immigration's office for similar data?
I haven't personally, Senator.
Well, it probably wouldn't go through you. How about some of your officers? Mr Thomas, have you received a request from the Minister's office for similar data?
For general data, Senator, as part of the discussion around NZYQ and detention releases, there's regular data requests around all elements of...
Yeah, but this isn't about NZYQ. This is about a specific period of time from 2014-15 to 2021-22. Has either Minister's office asked you for this data recently?
I think in terms of releases from detention over a broad time range, yes, at some point that data.
When did they ask you?
I'd have to take it on notice, Senator.
In the last week?
I'd have to take it on notice.
I really hope that the Minister's office hasn't commissioned the department to do a political hit job while you're in the middle of trying to get to the bottom of why they completely stuffed up the administration of Direction 99 and the release of dangerous people into the community. I really hope that's not what's been happening. I hope that taxpayers' resources was not used on a grubby political hit.
Oh, come on. You have spent how many months
I'm not
engaging in political hit jobs, engaging in political hit jobs, and again, you don't want to be held to the same standard. That's what this is all about.
There's a difference. There's a pretty important difference.
You think that Mr Dutton and yourself can run around out there making all sorts of accusations against government ministers and not be held to the same standard?
Minister, there's a pretty important difference. We're in opposition. It's our job to hold the government of the day to account, and we don't use public resources for that. If a minister's office has asked an independent public servant who is funded by taxpayers to dig up dirt on their predecessors so they can use it in a political hit, that is completely inappropriate. Well, frankly, that is worthy of a referral to the NAC.
Oh, Mr. goodness. Here we go.
That's very serious.
It's very serious to make
Is it that offensive to be held to the same standard?
Do you really think it's appropriate to use public servants for this purpose?
Do you really think it's not appropriate for Mr Dutton to be held to the same standard that he has been demanding of government ministers for months?
Senator Shoebridge has a point of order. I hope it's a...
The Minister continues to ask questions rather than provide answers, and it's out of order.
Senator Shoebridge, thank you.
Call him to account.
I have. I also... I didn't pull Senator Patterson up on the language that he used in his question. I think we have all seen over many years in these estimates rooms that the more pointed and political the question and the commentary, the more pointed and the political the response. And so I think we will continue. Senator Patterson, you have the call, and the Minister is entitled to respond if you are going to make claims and use words like grubby. I think I would ask you to reflect on that language and for the Minister to reflect on his.
Thanks, Chair. So, Mr Thomas, I would like you to come back to me on notice when and what the nature of those requests were from the Minister's offices. And while you're taking on notice Senator Ghosh's questions to check those time periods, there's two other time periods I'd like you to check, please. I'd like you to check, for every question Senator Ghosh asked you about released detainees, the period between 2007 and 2013. And I'd also like you to check the period between May 2022 and the High Court's decision in NZYQ, whether prior to the High Court's decision any rapists or murderers or other serious offenders were released and what conditions were imposed on them when they were released.
We'll take that on notice, Senator.
Thank you, and I hope you're able to provide it as expeditiously as you've said you would try to for Senator Ghosh. Chair, I'd like to share the call with Senator Reynolds.